very clear that don't do a mustahab act and involve yourself in haram. Because paying debt on is important, and there are various hadith which say that a Sahaba who did not fulfill his debt and he died, the Prophet did not read the Salatul Janazah of that Sahaba. And the debt was very small. Until another Sahaba came and paid his debt, then the Prophet did the Salatul Janazah. Imagine the Prophet did not even pray the funeral prayer of a Sahaba who had debt. Unless another Sahaba came and paid his debt, then the Prophet prayed the funeral prayers. Therefore, keeping a debt, if you die, is a major sin, and if you have the means, if you pay charity and don't pay the debt, that means you are giving charity with somebody else's money and charity will not be accepted. Because if somebody else's money, you're not giving that money, you're giving charity. Charity is only acceptable if it is with your money. And the Prophet is very clear with that. That the charity is only accepted if with your money, it's independent, not with other people's money. Hope that answers the question. The next question. May peace, mercy and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be on you. I am Nibras Alam from Kolkata, India. I am 18 years old. Having a commercial bank account is very common here. Without it, one cannot do official work properly. Here, an individual doesn't have an alternative solution of Islamic bank. Then what do I do? Will it not be an overburdening matter to follow? After all, my intention is not to loot others' wealth. I can give the interest back to the poor with some extra. If I don't engage in commercial banking system, then what is the alternate solution? Please give me advice. But the Nibras Alam has posed the question that he lives in Calcutta, India, and there is no Islamic bank in India, and he wants to do business, and to do business, you should have a bank account, and I'm aware of that. So his intention is not to eat other people's wealth. So what's the solution? Can he open in a conventional bank which has interest, and then whatever interest money he can give in charity? It is not permitted that you open in a conventional bank and give the money in charity, though some of the scholars say it's permitted. I say it is wrong, because the Quran is very clear cut that do not involve yourself in riba. Taking riba is also haram. So to give somebody else, first you have to take the riba and then give it charity. So according to me, even keeping in a conventional bank and taking the interest and riba and then giving charity, it is not permitted. If you get riba unknowingly or out of compulsion and then you give in charity, that is permitted. But knowingly you are keeping, it's not permitted. Coming to the question, what is the solution? If Islamic banks are there, the best solution is you open an account in Islamic bank. But I'm aware in India there are no Islamic banks. When you open a current account, the current account is free from interest. It's free from riba. Don't open a saving account. Don't open a fixed deposit. If it's a current account and for business, all the more reason current account is preferred. So my advice to you is that in any conventional bank, you can open a current account which does not involve interest. And I have been living in India for many years. I have been in many businesses. And as you are aware that there is no Islamic bank. So what did I do? I opened a conventional bank. But it was in current account, in which there was no interest. There is no interest in this, there is no riba, there is no haram. If you keep your money in a savings account or fixed deposit, you are signing a document saying that I want interest. But once you are agreeing of taking interest, that is haram. Later on, if you give in charity, that will not the problem, gets the major sin. In current account, you are not signing any document that you are keeping your money and gaining an interest. The best advice for you would be open in any conventional bank, which is riba based, no problem. But see to it, it is a current account which does not involve interest, and you do your business, inshallah, it will be fun. The next question. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Alia Muawiyah, Alia from Nigeria. What is the exact time of praying Salatul Duha? This question was asked to Sheikh Muhammad Salih Al-Husayni, that which is the correct time for praying Salatul Duha, and he replied that 15 minutes after the sun rises, from the time of sunrise, 15 minutes after sunrise, till 10 minutes before the sun reaches its zenith. So the time for Salatul Duha, it begins 15 minutes after sunrise up to 10 minutes before the sun reaches its zenith. That is the one. In between those times, it is called as Salatul Duha. Anytime. But the best time, the Prophet said in Sahih Bukhari, 122, hadith number 170, that the best time to pray Salatul Duha is when the camel feel the heat of the sun. And that is after the midpoint, from the sunrise to the highest point. So from sunrise to the highest point, after the midpoint, when the sun is become the hottest, that's the best time to offer Salatul Duha. If you offer immediately 15 minutes after the sun rises, or after 15 minutes, 20 minutes after sunrise, it is called as Ishraq, that means praying after the sunrise. It is Salatul Duha, but if you pray that time, it's called Ishraq. But the best time is after the midpoint of sunrise and sun at the zenith, when the camel is trying to the heat maximum of the sun. And as far as Salatul Duha is concerned, the Prophet said, pray 2 rakat and as many times in multiples of 2. But the Prophet mostly prayed 4 rakat, 2 plus 2. The Prophet, Salatul Duha, most of the time in the hadith, he offered 2 plus 2, 4 rakat. There was one occasion which is mentioned before Fateh Makkah, he offered 8 rakat. But the ruling is you can offer 2 rakat and as many multiples of 2 rakat as possible. But the sunnah of the Prophet was 4 rakat. So better if you offer 4 rakat 2 plus 2 after the sun reaches the midpoint from sunrise and zenith of the sun. Okay. The next question. My name is Muhammad Nawid. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am from Jabalpur, India. Why Allah made non-Muslims so intelligent and successful in this world? The question posed was that why did Allah make the non-Muslims so intelligent and successful in this world? The question to be asked is, what do you mean by intelligence and what do you mean by success in this world? According to Jami' al-Tirmidhi, volume number 6, hadith number 3681, our beloved Prophet Muhammad, he prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that let one of the two rajulain, one of the two men, give them hidayah, make them accept Islam. And the two men which the Prophet prayed for, that one among the two, one was known as Abu al-Hakam, He was given the title Father of Wisdom. His name was Muhammad bin Hisham. His name was Amr bin Hisham. He was given the title of Abu al-Hakam, Father of Wisdom. And the other person was Umar bin Khattab. May Allah be with him. And Allah chose Umar bin Khattab, who later on became the second caliph. So the Prophet prayed, let among these two men at least one accept Islam, who Allah loves more. So Allah gave Hidayah to Umar bin Khattab and became Muslim and later on became the second caliph of Islam. Now why did I quote this hadith? I quote this hadith because Amr bin Hisham, he was given the title of Abu al-Hakam, the father of wisdom. But this person, he was so intelligent, he was given the title the father of wisdom, but he did not accept Islam. So the Prophet called him Abu Jahl, called him the father of ignorance. So what use is intelligence if you cannot understand Tawheed? If you cannot understand the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you cannot understand that there is one creator in this world, that all human beings in the world should worship only one creator. So the Prophet changed his title from Abu al-Hakam, the father of wisdom, to Abu Jahl, father of ignorance. So depend upon what do you mean by intelligence. This was 1400 years ago. Let me give you an incident of Albert Einstein. You know, Albert Einstein was a scientist, supposed to be very intelligent. He was one of the top scientists that the world has ever produced. In the 19th century, when Albert Einstein goes to UK, he was traveling in a bus. And next to him, there was an Indian who was sitting. And while traveling, Albert Einstein thought to himself, let's have some fun. So he told the Indian that if I ask you any question, and if you do not reply, you will have to give me £1. And at that time, £1 was great amount. But if you ask me any question, and if I don't reply, I will give you £1,000. £1,000 of that time is much more than millions of pounds of today. So Albert Einstein, being a very intelligent person, he said, let's have some fun. But he did not know the rule that he should never mess with anything. So, he said, okay, I agree with you. If you ask me a question and if I cannot reply, I'll give you £1. If I ask you a question and you cannot reply, you give me £1,000. And Albert Einstein was very happy. So the Indian said, okay, you can start, Albert. Okay, I start. He asked the Indian, what is the third law of motion of Newton? He told him, can you tell me Newton's third law of motion? And the Indian did not reply. So Albert Einstein said that Newton's third law of motion is every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So the Indian took out £1 and gave it to him. Now Albert Einstein told him, you ask your question. So the Indian asked a question to Albert Einstein, that can you tell me exactly how many birds are there now in UK? He was shocked. So I'm thinking, how will I come to know how many birds are there? He thought about it. Then I asked him, can you tell me the exact number of birds now at present that are in UK? Thought for a long time. Then it took out £1,000 and £1,000 at that time is more than £1,000,000 of money. Then Albert Einstein was curious. He told him, can you tell me how many birds are there exactly now in UK? The Indian took out £1 and told him, I don't know. He took £1. So who was intelligent? The Indian takes out £1 and gives it to Albert Einstein. The rule month, I'll give you £1. And he gives you £1. And Albert Einstein was shocked. That means, who was more intelligent amongst the two? Penguin. So the moral of the story is, don't mess with anything. And I'm also an Indian. Then the Indian says, sir, can I ask you one more question? Albert Einstein says, no. Then he says, you asked me a question, I did not answer, I gave you £1. I asked you a question, you did not answer, you gave me £1,000. Then again you asked a question, I gave you £1. Now it is my turn. Albert Einstein says, no, I don't want to continue. So imagine, between the two, more intelligent was Penguin. So intelligent is subjective. So today, your statement is that why has Allah made the non-Muslim more intelligent and more successful? What do you mean by intelligent? Today a person is intelligent, he may be a scientist, but he doesn't agree that God is one. What is the use of the intelligence? And a non-Muslim is a person who doesn't believe in Islam. Is a person who does shirk, worship false God. So intelligent, limited sense, worldly sense, but not in the Akhirah. And Allah says in the Quran, Surah Mulk, chapter number 67, verse number 2, Alladhi khalaqal mawta wal hayat. It's Allah who has created death and life to test which of you will live. Now coming to a second part, that why has Allah made the non-Muslims successful? Now what do you mean by successful? Successful again is Albert term. You may say that who's successful? According to me, at the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he was the most successful person. Today you may think a person who's rich is successful. Today you may think that Bill Gates is successful or Jeff Bezos is successful. But not according to me. There was a list of top 10 richest men in the world. And it started with, Ambani. Then number 8 is Bill Gates. Then number 8, 9 was Ambani. Then number 3 was Bill Gates. Then number 2 was Jeff Bezos. You know who was the most successful, who was the most richest man? A Muslim who offers 2 rakat of sunnah before the Fajr Salah. Because the Prophet said, anyone who offers 2 rakat sunnah before the Fajr Salah, that is more valuable than the earth and the wealth in it. So for me, offering 2 rakat Fajr Salah before the Fajr Salah sunnah is more valuable than the earth and the wealth in it. So what do you mean by success? Do you mean, can you buy Jannah with the money? Allah says in the Quran that the kafir, those who reject faith, on the day of judgment they will say, we would not mind giving you the full earth and the wealth in it in exchange for Jannah and the Prophet. And Allah would say, it's too late. So what is success? Is it money? Allah says in the Quran in Surah Al-Asr, chapter 103, verse number 1 to 3. Wal-Asr, innal insana lafi khusr, illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihati wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. That by the token of time, man is verily in a state of loss, except those who have faith, those who have righteous deeds, those who exhort people to truth, and those who exhort people to patience and perseverance. So according to Surah Al-Asr, which is also called as Rahim-i-Najat, the path to salvation, it says that human being is in khasara, is in loss, except those who have 4 criteria. Number 1 is Iman, that is faith. Number 2 is righteous deeds. Number 3 is exhorting people to truth. And number 4 is exhorting people to patience and perseverance. So these are the minimum 4 criteria required for anyone to enter Jannah and Akhirah. That's the path to salvation. Success. So success is having these 4 criteria, and wealth is not mentioned. So everything is subjective. What do you mean by success? Imagine you are a very great scientist, you're intelligent, but you do shirk. You're sourcing partners with him. You may be a rich man, you may be Bill Gates, you may be Jeff Bezos, but you're sourcing partners What will happen in the real judgment? What will happen in Akhirah? All these people would be in hell. The successful man is those who have good iman, have righteous deed, who exhort people to the truth and exhort people to the truth. Hope that's it. The next question. Hi, Dr. Zakir Naik. I am Osama from Tunisia. I am a Muslim and I'm 16 years old. I always dreamed of being a physicist like Newton, but after watching your lecture, The Purpose of Life, I could not find with my goal aspects that would satisfy God Almighty. On the contrary, I fear that my research will be used in wars and destruction. With this goal, I do not want to gain fame from it, but to explore the secrets of the universe. What do you see? What do you see? Do I change my goal? What profession do you recommend for me? Thank you so much. The brother from Tunisia has asked a question that he wanted to become a scientist like Isaac Newton. But when he saw my talk on what is the purpose of your life, he was convinced with it, and he realized that he becoming a scientist will not be able to satisfy Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It will not bring a person close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he will not be able to fulfill his purpose of life. And that's the reason he decided not to become a scientist. His advice is that what should you do now? Since you have heard my lecture, What is the Purpose of Life? And I've clearly said in that lecture, Allah says in the Quran in Surah Al-Hariyat, chapter number 51, verse number 6, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونِ, that Allah has created the jinn and the men not but to worship. So the primary duty of the men and the jinn is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Regarding a question that what should you do now? What profession should you take? And I've said this earlier today, I've said in many of my answers before, that the best profession that a Muslim can choose is profession for life. Allah says in the Quran in Surah Fussilat, chapter number 40, verse number 30, وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. Who is better in speech than one who invites to the way of their Lord, works righteousness, and says that I am a Muslim? So the best profession according to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the glorious Quran is the profession of a person who calls people towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's the profession of a dai. What was the profession of the beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? To convey the message. It was that of a dai. And after the messengers have exhausted and no other messenger will come, our beloved Prophet said, it is the role of the da'i and the scholars to continue spreading the message. So the best profession is that of that. Regarding a question, you wanted to become a scientist like Isaac Newton, and what should you do now? Becoming a scientist like Isaac Newton is not haram. Learning science and becoming a scientist is not haram, but will you be able to fulfill the purpose of your life is very important. Now let us understand the pros and cons. For example, you said you want to become like Isaac Newton. First I ask you that how good are you in physics? People want to do many things, but they come to know that they are good at it just because you heard someone or you thought it very good, but you may not be practically good. So first I would like to ask you that how are your marks in physics? What is your score? How much have you got out of 100? Is it 95? Is it 98? Is it 99? If it's really very good, that means you're good. If it's not, then why waste your time? Come back to your question. If you're really good in physics and you want to be a scientist, what are the chances that you will become a scientist like Isaac Newton? You know, there are billions of human beings in the world. How many scientists are there? There are millions of scientists that have come in the world. How many Isaac Newton do you have? Only one. So the chance that you will become like Isaac Newton is 1 in 10 billion, 0.00001%. 0.00000. Okay, you said around we are among the top 100 scientists, maybe a scientist who has got the Nobel Prize. So if you count all the number of scientists who have got Nobel Prize, and there may be 100 scientists in the world. The chances that amongst the millions of scientists you will become one like 100 would be again 0.00001%. How many scientists really make a difference to the world? Maybe few hundred or few thousand. Again, the chances is 0.001%. So if you become a scientist, you should be good first. The chances you become Isaac Newton is 0.00001%. The chances that you become one of the top 100 scientists like getting Nobel Prize is 0.001%. The chances you become a scientist that will be beneficial for the world is again 0.00%, 0.001%, 1 in 1,000, 1 in 10,000. So if you become a scientist first, it's difficult. The chance is so less. And if you don't reach that level, what is the advantage? What benefit can you do to the world? What benefit can you do to the Ummah? Now compared to a dai, imagine if you become a dai or a scholar, like Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah. Fine, there are millions of scholars. You become one like Shaykh al-Islam or millions of dai, 0.001%, or you become like a dai, like Sheikh Ahmad Didat. Okay, there are thousands of dai. The chance of becoming Ahmad Didat is maybe 0.001%. Or you may just become a normal dai. So if you compare to a scientist like Isaac Newton or a dai, whether it be like Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah or Sheikh Ahmad Didat, or like a normal dai, even if you are a normal dai, the lowest in the world, as long as you're propagating Islam, the Quran and Hadith, it will be multiple times better in your akhirah than becoming a scientist like Isaac Newton. Because the dawah profession is far superior. The lowest dai is better than the best scientist of the world. So my advice to you is that first you should see how good are you in physics. And then if you have the acumen and if you have the ability, then I would say first become a dai. And then if time permits you, or if you have the ability, you have the acumen, you can also become a scientist. But number one is don't forget to be a good dai. To become a good dai, see to it that you learn dawah. See to it you join an Islamic university which is authentic, based on Quran and Sunnah. See you do your bachelor's. See to it you do your master's. See to it you do your PhD. Now, while doing this, if you have the acumen, the capability of simultaneously doing physics, if it's your passion, I've got no problem. But number one is dawah. For example, my daughter, my youngest daughter, she has a passion for physics. But she knows the purpose of life. So now she is doing a graduation in Princess Noora University in Riyadh. It is one of the best universities for the women in the world. And one of the sections is the Islamic section. She'll be finishing within a couple of months. In 2 months, we'll be finishing, inshallah, the graduation course. But besides that, she also Hafizul Quran. Every day she revises about 3 juz. During examinations, maybe less. On average, 3 juz a day. During Ramadan, it is more. Hafizul Quran, she'll be finishing a bachelor's Islamic studies. She'll be doing a master's, inshallah. After finishing a bachelor's, she's doing a dawah activity. She's good with the pen. She has a flair for writing. At the same time, while doing graduation on site in Riyadh, she is even doing bachelor's in physics online in Open UK University. Now, Open UK University doing online bachelor's is very expensive. But she has the ability. She gives most of the time for the Islamic studies and for dawah. and for his few hours, maybe in a week, she may be giving for a bachelor in physics. The moment she finishes the examination of Islamic studies, she gives the examination for bachelor. Not because she has the capacity, she has the memory, she has the acumen. She wants to do physics, and I gave her permission. But if she just said, I'll do physics, I'll not do Dawah, I will not do bachelor's in Islamic studies, I would not be happy. I would not permit her. My son, if he says, I want to become a doctor because you're a doctor, I would say, you're foolish. Why do you want to spend 5.5 years in doing medicine? And that is much more superior. Allah gave me hidayah late, and I'm happy that I was a doctor. That was Allah's plan. But today you don't have to become a doctor in a time. You specialize in Islam. So mashallah, he finished his graduation.